let this go into tracking mode with the helicopter overhead, the units weren't able to keep up with it, and that's why we're having a hard time finding it, because there was no lights behind it, no police cars with lights and sirens behind it. So now we've picked up the vehicle, northbound 605, approaching Valley Boulevard here. Now we're hearing that the speeds are about 80 miles an hour. Again, the want on this was for a traffic violation. It's unclear what that traffic violation was. It's likely it was speed. The officer that was behind this vehicle tried to light it up and pull it over, and that's when this car took off at 120 miles an hour. When we first heard of it, it was northbound 5 freeway at 4th Street, and now has made it up here in a matter of about almost 20 minutes now into the, well, approaching the Baldwin Park City of Industry area right now. Yeah, it's way too fast, Kathy, for a pit maneuver, and way too dangerous for any kind of spike strip action, especially on the freeway at this hour. It's very dark out there and very dangerous for the officers, but at these speeds, it's just almost impossible to get this guy to stop. Maybe common sense will kick in and tell this guy, hey, we better knock this off and stop it. We understand there's 2 people on board. That's the initial call, that there was 2 people in this car, 2 male suspects. Failing to yield, and you know, this is just a dangerous situation for the people out here on the freeways, as well as the officers that were trying to keep up with it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you just what is behind him and what is ahead of him. No traffic or no police units behind him. As you can see, we've seen a few CHP officers that have been blocking on-ramps and off-ramps, but none that have engaged this suspect yet. But the airship is overhead. They are tracking him. He's not able to get away from them. Although right now I'm looking at our speed up here in News Chopper 4, 140 miles an hour right here on this stretch of the northbound 605. So he's now approaching Irwindale. His next stop is going to be the 10 freeway. Actually, I'm looking out here, and he may be already beyond that, and it will be the 210 freeway. So when he gets to that 210 freeway, he's going to have an option to go east or west. And we'll see what he does, but you can see him blowing right by these cars. Yeah, blowing right by him and also kind of weaving through them, putting a lot of people in harm's way. And Gil, you were saying that this number is just absolutely staggering, 140 miles per hour, and that's been part of the problem here. It's almost hard to kind of keep up with this guy at this point because he's going so fast, right? That's right. I mean, you know, Adrian, we were able to get up in the air really quick from our base in Fullerton, and within minutes he moved from the Orange Crush literally up into the Brea Canyon, and that distance is a pretty great distance to move in that short a time. So we had a difficult time catching up to him, and like I said, finding him on the freeway. But now that we have, the airship is overhead tracking him. They're able to keep up. And we'll see what the police do here in this matter, because at these speeds, it's practically impossible to stop him. He's slowed down now to about 104 miles an hour, believe it or not. Well, just a frightening situation for anyone who's on the freeway right now, and we're seeing a lot of cars as we see him there once again transitioning. Is he? Nope. Now some erratic driving right there. That's scary. Yeah. Well, Kathy, he's actually trying to decide which way to go, and now he's made that commitment to the westbound 210 freeway from the 605. So it looked like he was going to go eastbound, and at the last minute he came across that gore point, and now he's westbound, committed to the westbound 210 freeway, moving through the city of Duarte now. And we'll see which way he goes. Now he's heading, you know, basically back towards the Pasadena area. And as we make our turn here, we're going to continue to track him westbound. But I'm going to zoom out again to show you no units have been able to get into position and get behind him to try to stop him. But at these speeds, it's, you know, really impossible to make that stop and you know, make him realize that, you know, this is a very dangerous situation, not only for himself, but for the officers and the safety of the public in general. And Gil, right now you can see there are not too many vehicles out on the roads. Every now and then he comes up on these clusters and pockets of vehicles. But can you describe how this person has been driving since you first arrived and kind of gotten a look at him? And I mean, has it been mostly straight ahead driving? Has he been weaving back and forth and through different lanes past people? Yeah, he's been doing a lot of weaving back and forth. He's been aggressive as far as like passing cars on transition roads. We saw that just a few minutes ago. You know, making his way on the shoulder basically to get around cars. You can see him just weaving in and out here. We're at he's picking up speed from that transition. We're now at 120 miles an hour and growing. It's just unbelievable, the speeds here. 140 miles, that's just insane on the freeway. It's good that there isn't a whole lot of traffic out here, but you can see him passing vehicles left and right here without any problems, just kind of weaving his way in and out. So the good news is not a whole lot of traffic for this driver, and maybe he'll come to his senses and slow it down.
Yeah, I was thinking, though, how frightening it is for drivers, because all of us have been on the freeway and someone has come just zooming past you, and you think, oh gosh, don't let that person get into a wreck. And here we're seeing him now, what has it been, about 20 minutes at these incredible speeds. Do you have any idea what type of car this is?
I'm trying to get a look. It might be a BMW. Let me come in here a little tighter just for a second to see. Maybe you can tell. It's really dark down there. Hard to tell what it is. I haven't heard it on the radios as yet, what kind of vehicle it is. Might possibly be a Lexus. It's hard to say, but again, it's definitely a high-performance vehicle to be able to sustain these speeds.
And Gil, is that an airship that just put a light on him that's been able to kind of catch up with him? It didn't seem like the vehicle was lit a little bit earlier. It seems that that's changed within the past few moments.
That's true. You know, they have the airship overhead. I'm trying to find out who it is. It might be sheriffs that's assisting this. It is the sheriffs assisting in this pursuit. So they have their night sunlight that's on this vehicle, lighting it up. Again, no units behind it at this point. I'm trying to hear the CHP if they're trying to get involved or not. I'm sure they are. We've seen some units blocking on-ramps and off-ramps. But as far as getting behind the suspect, you know, they go into tracking mode. What they try to do with that is they try to give this person some leeway, some breathing space to think about what they're doing. And usually it works. Usually they'll slow down. They'll see that no one's behind them. And they'll get off the gas and start driving normal again. But not with this guy. This guy is just bent on getting away.
So the idea normally is that you don't have police cars or CHP vehicles right up behind him, so he doesn't feel that pressure to hit the gas and go forward. But in this case, like you said, it doesn't seem to be working. He's maintaining these speeds. So the other option is to what? Just let him keep going until he eventually runs out of gas or decides to pull off and circle a neighborhood, possibly trying to get back to a location he knows or he's comfortable with to bail out. There aren't too many options at this point.
That's right, Kathy. You know, a lot of times in these pursuits, we see them go to a familiar place, to their home or a neighborhood that they know of, maybe to a friend's house. They'll go to an area that they know. So that might be the case here. It's kind of unusual for a vehicle to be traveling at this high rate of speed for this long. We're at what, about 11:35 right now. This pursuit, we heard it start at about 11:10. So, you know, coming from Santa Ana all the way to we're here hitting Pasadena now. In that short amount of time can explain the rate of speed this car has been traveling. So yeah, it's likely that he'll either eventually run out of gas, get into an accident, or find the place that he's familiar with and try to get out and run and hide there. That's usually what we see happen in pursuits such as these.
And Gil, you've been rattling off the cities that this guy has driven through already. I mean, we're talking about Santa Ana, city of industry. We've talked about Duarte, Monrovia, Pasadena, now I believe making his way to Glendale. Are we starting to see traffic bunch up as we kind of get into the Glendale closer to Los Angeles? Are there more vehicles on the roads that might slow this guy down a little bit?
You know, Adrian, he's westbound, so there's not a whole lot of traffic out here right now westbound. I see more traffic leaving the LA area heading eastbound. But the westbound lanes are fairly open. This is kind of what I see ahead of them for the next couple miles. This kind of traffic here is pretty light. You can see a police car on top of that bridge there. But again, you know, this is what he's facing. So he really has the freeway open up to himself. You know, he might hit some traffic up by the 5 freeway, maybe the 2 freeway. If he continues on the 210 here, the 210 is going to transition into the 134 here, and soon he'll be on that 134. But I'm hearing the CHP now, just as I'm speaking about that, and it sounds like they're trying to get into position to get behind this guy. So we might be seeing some CHP action behind this vehicle to try to get him to pull over. Maybe that's what it takes. Maybe he's going to need to see those vehicles behind him and realize, okay, I am in trouble. I better stop.
All right, so all of this starting about 11:10 now, and we've been following it for a while. We followed it on our newscast at 11. here on NBC4 and now on NBCLA.com. When we welcome our viewers who are watching this, because it really is a very dangerous situation with the high speeds. And we talked about how many cities he's gone through and just some of the freeways, the 5, the 57, 60, 605. He's hitting a lot of freeways now on the 210, heading west at speeds of 120, 140 miles per hour in this high-performance vehicle. Do we know, Gil, have we heard anything about this possibly being a stolen car?
We haven't heard anything about a stolen car. We only heard that the want was a traffic violation, and that's it. They do know that there's 2 people on board. We haven't heard word of it being stolen. I can tell you that we've crossed now through the Eagle Rock area. We're approaching the 210 freeway here in a couple miles. But can you imagine when we first heard this at 11:10? It's now 11:40, and he's already up at Eagle Rock from Santa Ana. So it's just amazing to see that kind of distance and these kinds of speeds. Currently 110 miles an hour right now through the Eagle Rock area.
And we know that we have the airships following him because it was too dangerous. But you talked about CHP may get in position to follow him. Is there any chance he doesn't know he's being followed? That'd be impossible. He would see the helicopter.
Well, he's definitely seen the light up his field of vision there. You can see that night sun, and especially in this stretch of freeway on the 134, it's really dark through here. And when that night sun hits you, you know that someone's watching you. So he knows it. This hasn't been the case throughout the pursuit. We haven't seen that night sun come on until just a little while ago when Adrian mentioned it. That's when they started to light up the vehicle, and you saw speeds reach 140 miles when he did that.
And so as we get into the Glendale area, that's where I understand that we're at now. Okay, so he's weaving over into the HOV lane, now back out. You're going to come up on the 2 and 5 interchanges there. Are we seeing any traffic back up in that area again? I know I asked you that just a few minutes ago, but I'm just curious as to whether or not that might slow this guy down, or is this still kind of open waters essentially for this guy?
Yeah, basically open waters for him. He might hit some traffic coming up on the 5. He just crossed the 2 freeway. So now we are in the Glendale area, and looking out the window of News Chopper 4, there is really no traffic ahead of him to speak of until that interchange, the 134 and the 5 freeway. Now he has some options there. He can go north on the 5 or continue on the 134 into the valley. So we'll see what happens here in just about a minute or so. He'll be at that intersection, 133 miles an hour right now. So he's just topping out here on his speed.
Well, it's really incredible. It makes you cringe to think if he hits anything and there are drivers out tonight. It's just a really scary situation. Again, 2 people on board. We picked this up at about 11:10. And it's been going on, and it's been going on at these high speeds. What's the lowest speed we've seen so far? 80 miles per hour? It's still really fast.
Right, 80 was about it, the slowest we've heard of. But that was through the transition there on the 210 freeway. But again, and I can hear the officers talking about this pursuit, how fast he's going right now. He's slowed it down now to about 110. But you can see those cars, that he's passing, just whizzing right by those cars. They have no clue what's coming up behind them. And all it takes is one person to decide to make a quick lane change, and it's a different ball game at that point. So a very dangerous situation for everybody involved here. You can see, look at that, coming really close to that car, almost clipping it. And let's see, he's going to make the transition here, and I think this is going to be the northbound 5 here. Stand by, and I'll get you that in just 1 second.
Okay.
It sounds like he's going the northbound 5 from the 134.
So this makes how many freeways he's been on? He started on the 5. He was on the 57, the 60, 605, the 210. Now back on the 5. Just incredible in this short amount of time. It's been under an hour, under 45 minutes.
Let me make a correction on that. He went westbound 134 from the 5. So it looked like he was going to take the 5 north, but he didn't. He's continuing on the 134 now, moving into the Burbank area. His next freeway interchange was going to be the 170, 101 interchange.
Yeah, Gil, you were talking about it. I mean, you got to feel for all these other drivers out there. I mean, you see them in the left lane. You got to figure some of them might be going 70 miles per hour. The speed limit in many of these areas was 65, and he's almost doubling that. I mean, you would have no clue that someone's coming up on you that quickly, and all it takes is, you to veer over and, these vehicles to clip each other, and you could have a very, very bad situation.
Most definitely. I mean, I think we've all been on the freeways at one point or another and had a car whiz by you or a motorcycle go by you at high speeds, and it's just, you know, awakening. You're just like, wow, what was that that just passed me? This guy's doing it at such a high rate of speed. It's just incredible to imagine. But like I said, one false move, one lane change, even debris on the road can bring this to an end.
Yeah, and if you travel on LA freeways, you know, every once in a while there is debris on the road, and you know, it's tough at night when people, I hate to say, but you know, might be intoxicated if they're out for a night, and it would be so easy just to have an accident, and then at this high rate of speed, it's a really dangerous situation. And you have to think about the reason people run. You know, is it a joyride? Are they wanted for something? Is it a stolen vehicle? Why didn't this person stop when all this started? It was a simple traffic violation, and now we have this high-speed pursuit.
Yeah, you have to think there's something more to it. You know, let me take a quick break here and make sure our signal's holding up. We might have to make a quick mountaintop change, but still continuing on the 134 westbound, approaching the 101, 170 interchange. Let me make a quick call to our control room and check that out.
All right, Gil Lavis live in News Chopper 4 as we continue to watch this on NBCLA.com. This is a high-speed pursuit. Speeds up to 140 miles per hour, if you can believe that, on multiple freeways. It all started at about 11:10, and we understand 2 people are in this car, but we do not know why this driver is running.
Yeah, 35 minutes thus far, and this guy's already been on the 5, the 57, the 60, the 134. He's gone through the cities of Santa Ana, the City of Industry, Duarte, Monrovia, Pasadena, Glendale, all again reaching speeds of up to 140 miles per hour. The slowest speeds we've seen thus far is about 80 miles per hour as we work to get this signal back for you from our News Chopper 4. And those speeds, you know what, they went up so high that the CHP and the other authorities had to pull the ground vehicles back and essentially just track this vehicle using an airship or a helicopter.
And Gil is back with us now as we switch mountaintops, and we have a clear signal for you. We're going to stay with this pursuit until its conclusion. We hope that comes very soon, because at these high rates of speed, we say it again, a very dangerous situation. Gil, what's the latest?
Well, Kathy and Adrian, we are now in the Studio City area. We're passing Laurel Canyon, 101 westbound from the 170, 134 split. And you can see he's into some heavy traffic now. Looking out ahead, there is more of a volume of traffic. He's going to have to weave his way through this traffic, and he slowed down significantly as we move through this traffic here. But again, this is one of the slowest rates of speeds we've seen in this pursuit since we got on it. Again, this all started in the Santa Ana area, about the 5 freeway and the 55 freeway. That's basically where it's this. We actually heard it, and he moved so quickly, so fast. He's now in. That was at about 11:10, and now it's 11:45 or so, and he's already up here in the Studio City in the valley. So incredible speeds. The police haven't even been able to get behind him and get into position. They have the airship overhead. They did have units on this guy early in the pursuit, but they quickly dropped off as the speeds progressed, and now he is westbound 101, weaving his way in and out of traffic, and now picking up speed again. You can see that 107 miles an hour at this point, approaching the 405 freeway.
And Gil, you said earlier they're using the airship because it was just too dangerous to follow him at these high rates of speed. But you said you heard the CHP talking about possibly getting into position. Have you heard anything else about that or seen anything?
You know, it's amazing, Kathy. He's moved through so many jurisdictions of CHP. It's hard to keep up. He was through the Altadena area. Now he's going to be coming through the San Fernando Valley area. So I'm going to move my scanner over and pick that up to see what I hear there. But again, just incredible rates of speed, so fast so that that the units on the ground were having difficulty keeping up. They would probably have to put a motor officer behind this guy to keep up. But again, we don't. You know, it's hard to say if that's going to help at all in this chase. He has continued to just stay on that gas and continue to weave his way in and out of traffic. So I'm going to try to pick up some more information here to see what he's going to do. It looks like he might be transitioning here now on the 405 northbound. It looks like he is committed into the, nope, look at that, he's taking the goal point, and oh, he's going to hit that car. Oh man, that was close. I don't know if he clipped him or not.
It sure looked like it. It sure looked close.
Yeah, it was close. It almost looked like that car was trying to maybe pin him in, but then changed his mind. He's transitioning on a ramp here. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to be south 405, coming up hard on that car there, looking like he wants to pass on that shoulder. Now he's going to turn southbound and on the 405. And excuse me one second as I try to pick up some radio traffic here. Continuing now, southbound 405. He's going to be going into the Sepulveda Pass. You got the airship overhead lighting him up. This is going to change some things for his speed going uphill. But you know, if his character holds up here, he's just going to continue to hammer that gas pedal and continue with high rates of speed. Even right now, he's 94 miles an hour going uphill here in the Sepulveda Pass.
Yeah, with so many cities that he's gone through and so many freeways he's been on going different directions, this is the kind of situation I would imagine where the jurisdictions alert each other and say, hey, we've got this guy, he's going at this incredible rate of speed, 140 miles per hour at some time, so they all alert each other to know to be on standby. Is that the situation that usually happens?
Oh, most definitely. You have the LAPD. He's moving through the LAPD's jurisdiction right now, but on the freeway it's CHP. So we'll see if the LAPD decides to jump in on this. They likely will not unless they're asked to assist. But they're definitely, you know, standing by on the off ramps in the event that this guy gets off and into his area. So he's moving towards the Santa Monica area and the west side of LA. So we'll see if other agencies jump in on this and try to do what they can do. But there's not much they can do on the freeways except let him run out of gas as he is going now 138 miles an hour. We're trying to keep up with this guy up here in News Chopper 4. We're hitting 138 miles an hour, and he's slowly pulling away from us. But unbelievable to see the speed going up the Sepulveda Pass.
Yeah, Gil, I was going to say within the last few minutes, it looked like he really started to pick up in speed again. You're saying a lot of this was going uphill. It's just crazy. Yeah,
I mean, he's just... the speeds here are incredible. Looking out ahead, the traffic again is going to get heavy as he comes down the hill. It's kind of medium to light right now. The LAPD airship has joined this pursuit and is assisting and is aiding with the night sun. So now he's coming up to the top of the Sepulveda Pass, and this is where we're going to see some traffic when he gets down into the Sunset Boulevard area.
And I know initially we said that some ground units were following him, and the speeds picked up. A little bit later on in the chase, you had heard some radio traffic indicating that they might be formulating a plan to start following him again. Are you seeing anything on the sides of the roads or behind him right now, or is this, are they still solely tracking him from the air?
Yeah, I'm going to pull out and show you, Adrian. You can see there's no one behind him, just that airship that's tracking. But they are trying to get units in the position in the event that he slows down or gets off the freeway. Certainly those other agencies are standing by. They are aware of the pursuit as it's coming their way. But until he exits the freeway, I don't see this coming to an end unless he hits some sort of traffic or if he has, if there's a freeway closure or something like that. But still, no sign of this guy letting up.
And you said that he's going to come up to a cluster of traffic coming up. Roughly how far away? Is he coming up on that pretty soon, or is it still...
Well, you know, down the 405 here as he comes out of the Sepulveda Pass, the freeway is actually there's more traffic going north than there is going south, but he's going to hit some traffic down towards like Sunset, Wilshire, that area, and as he approaches the 10 freeway, it's gonna start to bunch up. But at this hour, you know, traffic is actually pretty light for this area.
Yeah, and they can sit back with that airship. They've got a good view to monitor everything that happens and follow this person so that they can't get away. We also know from stories we've covered and past pursuits that someone will tally up any incidents that happen. Right now he's facing felony evading, but any accidents that happen, anyone who's put in any danger, everything will be tallied up, and those charges will be filed against that person when all of this is resolved and they are taken into custody.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to have a problem here if he continues on the 405. It's not a big problem, but he's going to transition. If he does continue south on the 405, we're going to get into the LAX airspace, which will put us over the airport for a while. We'll see what he does. He has the option of taking the 10 freeway or continue on southbound. At this point, it's hard to say, but once he reaches that interchange, we'll know better, and we'll have to make some adjustments. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this guy knows what he's facing. He's going to go to jail whether he runs out of gas, gets in a crash, or just gives up. It's a matter of time. But for now, he's just going to ride that gas pedal as long and as far as he can for making those decisions. But one of the things you're seeing right now is he's starting to get into this heavy traffic, and he's having to weave in and out. This is where it gets really dangerous for these drivers up ahead.
And we haven't really seen him clip anybody, except for that maybe it was a close call in the Studio City Sherman Oaks area, but some really close calls several times.
Yes, several times when he comes through. When he comes through these bunches of cars, that's when it gets really dangerous. I mean, especially for drivers who aren't quite aware of what's coming up behind them. If they decide they want to get over, that can be very deadly for anybody here at these speeds. 107 miles an hour right now. So he's backed off on the gas a little bit, but you know that's extreme speed still. Here he is, hard on the brakes. So he's approaching that. Look at that, weaving right through. That's what we're talking about. Coming through these interchanges, the traffic bunches up, and there you can see for the first time a PD. There's several police there. That's the CHP joining in. So they're going to try to keep up. And look at this guy. He sees him. He says, "No way, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to hit the gas," and he does.
How fast is he going now? Can you tell?
Yeah, he bumped it up to 120 miles an hour now. So he sees these officers trying to get into position, and he's saying, "No way, I'm not going to stop."
Yeah, he made those ground units look like they were standing still almost as he as they fired up the lights there. Where are we now, Gil? What position is he? What exits is he near?
We're coming through the Palms area. Actually, Venice Boulevard. He's crossing, and it's still southbound 405. Here's where we're going to have some issues tracking this pursuit for maybe a minute or so as we have to transition over or through the LAX airspace. So we may lose the vehicle for a moment. We'll try to keep it as much as we can here as we make that transition. And his next freeway interchange is going to be that 105 freeway, unless he gets off here up ahead, like in the city of Inglewood. But for now, he's continuing and coming up on. Oh, look at that! Oh, no. He just crashed. This is terrible, terrible, hitting both of those cars. They're all spinning out of control, and that's what we're talking about. One lane change changes it all. You can see one of the cars lost a tire. I don't know if that's a suspect vehicle or not, but two other cars involved here.
Open.
Looks like that. The doors are open. I don't see anyone jumping out. Oh, his hands are up there. That might be the passenger in the vehicle and someone on.
We see two people.
They're both out. Yeah. So a terrible situation here with those other drivers coming through there and sandwiching through. Those cars came in, tried to get out of the way, and you can see the officers here, the CHP officers with guns drawn. And I'll try to get you the location here. It looks like it's going to be right around the Marina Freeway. At the 405 southbound. Both suspects are now in custody. They're going to check on both of those drivers. That truck that he hit that was on the right-hand side, you can see the officers walking over, or one officer walking over. There's one of the suspects. I'm not sure if that's the driver or not. They both got out the passenger side.
Right.
They're both in custody and this pursuit's over, but now the concern is for those innocent drivers that were involved in this accident.
Yeah, usually at this point we're saying, the end of the pursuit, we're happy about that. Everyone was taken into custody, but our hearts stopped. We really feel for these people who were involved in this and just hope that everyone is okay. We can see the officers over there right now checking on that truck, and there was another car involved too.
Yeah, it looks like it might have been this vehicle here. So they're both they're both stopped, and this truck is smoking here. So we're not sure what the condition is of those people. Their officers are checking on. They have one person out there. It looks like, let me get a better focus for you, moving them to the shoulder. But you can see that truck. It looks like it lost the tire as it crashed into him. That man is being assisted by someone there to the shoulder of the road.
Good to see them walking, though, really good.
Yeah, that's good that they're moving out of the vehicle. Here's the last suspect being taken into custody. You can see that car lost its front right wheel in that accident. So that's what brought it to an end. An accident at high rates of speed. It was about a little over 100 miles an hour. I tried to look at the speed when it happened. It was probably about 110 miles an hour when he passed those cars, and then the accident occurred. A very violent and a very dangerous end to this pursuit on the 405 freeway right around the Marina freeway.
Yeah.
And Gil, yeah, these struck 2 innocent bystanders. Do we know where that second vehicle is right now?
We believe it's this one
one
here. I haven't seen any officers move into that. Let me come down the freeway a little bit more to see if there's a vehicle disabled. This might be it here, actually. Okay, so there might be a few more vehicles involved. That one might be the one that he actually hit. It's either that one or the one further up ahead, but I think it's that one that is disabled there on the center divider.
That really was such a violent accident. Can you imagine being behind that? And it just so scary. Luckily, they didn't flip over and it wasn't worse. It looks like someone got out and was able to walk to the side. So if there's any fortunate news in it, there's that.
It happened so fast, you know, trying to recall it from memory. It looked like the suspect vehicle actually got airborne, and
it's so
it looks like this
shocking
truck
when you see
sustained
it.
a lot of the damage.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so just recapping what we had here, we had a pursuit start right around 11:15. That's when we first got word of this, near the Diamond Bar area. 2 suspects in that vehicle there. We're still trying to get details on that vehicle and what exactly they were wanted for other than a traffic violation. They went on the 5, the 57, the 60, the 605, the 134, the 405, and eventually this ended near the Marina Freeway and 405 southbound.
And NSC, I'm
right?
losing IFP.
And you can see now the police and CHP have taken the 2 suspects into custody after the suspects struck 2 innocent bystanders, 2 vehicles on this freeway, and we saw officers tending to one of the victims in one of those vehicles, walking him away from his vehicle to the shoulder of the road.
All of this by the Marina Freeway, and as you can tell, they're clearing the scene right now, but there's going to be an investigation. We may have people injured, so this is going to be a traffic tie-up for quite a while. That's going to do it for us, though, here on NBCLA.com. We thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a safe night. You will have a complete follow-up on Today in LA starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow.